Hey guys, Miles here at Tactical Hyve, joined again by Tosh, and it's a Friday, so welcome to another video, Force on Force Fridays, and we're joined by a special guest, world champion paintball player, Matty Marshall, and we decided it would be a cool video to bring Matty in and run some scenarios with Tosh, because we want to see, do a lot of the tactics, techniques from paintball, do they translate well into realistic Force on Force scenarios? Before we start, Matty, would you be so kind to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Matty Marshall, former professional paintball player, world champion. Spent a long time playing pro paintball all around the world, in Europe, in Asia, and in the States. Done a decent amount of Force on Force tactical training. I really can't wait. It's so important to train these skills. It's fundamental. If you're going to own firearms and enjoy them respectfully, for what it is, you need to know these skills. And
keep in mind here, well, Matty, correct me if I'm wrong, you had mentioned you don't have any real experience with Force on Force with pistols, or even pistols in general.
Yeah, pistols, not my preferred tactical format, not my weapon system. I really enjoy shooting, more rifles. Done a lot of Force on Force with rifles, but yeah, pistols, very much a little bit of a rookie here. So. Got it.
Tosh, how do you think Matty's going to do?
I think he's going to do really well. I think a lot of the stuff that he does is going to transfer over. There might be some little things that, he's got to figure out, but I think he's going to do good.
I think so too. Well, let's see.
Okay, you're going to start your room. You're going to have somebody intrude your house. As soon as you recognize that there's a threat coming, I want you to react to it.
Okay.
Okay, however you decide to do this, it's on you.
Okay.
Okay. Role player, send it.
Ready.
Good. All right, next. Okay, in 1,000 words or less, how'd that feel?
Exhilarating. Yeah, it was very, I had my legs up, just chilling, the gun up high, again, keep away from my child.
Right.
Look up, see a guy with a gun. Definitely saw the flash of the gun as he came in. I'm like, all right, we're going right now.
Right.
Also trying to keep in mind, I'm in my house. Can't just start blasting on this guy.
Right.
And then it also took me a while to figure out where he was. So, tried to pie the corner, check off this room. He wasn't really engaging. It looked like he was intentionally kind of being a little tentative.
Right.
So that's when I tried to just stay gunned up on him, wait for any sort of indication of where he was. Once I found out where he was, we exchanged a little bit of fire. Not exactly sure after talk to him, went out, he was shot. But once I saw him check back in and he was injured, that's when I tried to close the gap.
Okay.
Cut this angle here and stay as tight as possible against what looks like pretty solid cover. And then came around and heard it say dead. So I was like, okay, so.
Okay, that's exactly how it went down. During that time period, when there was no gunfire, what could you have done while you were prepping? While you were in here waiting for something to happen, you were kind of watching.
I mean, I could have tried to say, hey, what are you doing, or talk to him at all, but I mean, my instinct was to not really tell him where I was.
So where I'm getting at, if you have the wherewithal, if your gun's there, your cell phone's there, right?
Yeah.
You could have immediately got 911 while you're waiting.
That's no, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, absolutely. That would be,
right.
That's 100%.
I'm not saying that's what you have to do. It's just something to take into consideration. Don't forget your line of communication, right? Now, everything else you did, I got nothing for you. That was probably how I hope I would have handled it. Okay, Matty, here's the next scenario. This is your apartment. You've got kids. You got kids sleeping in your room. You're going to be in your room. A situation's going to unfold. I want you to deal with it.
Copy that.
Okay. So you're going to be, your gun's going to be in a safe spot. You're going to be just relaxing.
Same as before, just as it would be at home.
Right. Okay. But there's a home intruder.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Set it.
Hey, put your hands up. Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see the hands. Let me see the hands. Let me see the hands.
All right, how'd that feel?
That was a really interesting one. As we're going through this, knowing you're saying, again, I kid and saying this is the kid's room, where he was going towards the kids, it made it very interesting because that was in my mind the whole time. But that also decided, my decision to shoot him was predicated upon he's going towards my children. He's reaching into, I didn't see a weapon, but that's one of those situations where I would rather risk the trial than him actually doing anything to my kids. Right. You know, I'd rather take that decision to shoot him in that situation than him go to my kids and then me never being able, I'd rather live in prison with that on my soul than not, Absolutely. You know, so, but that's a heavy situation, right?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Yeah. It's a realistic situation. You know, one of the things that we were trying to do is mud suck you in to actually try to engage from out here into there, which you didn't do. You closed the gap. You made sure that at least you didn't see your children in the line of fire.
100%. And that was in my head too.
Okay, so that was a great decision making.
If we just real quick go right here, where I engaged right here was here are the kids, and I decided to shoot him once he really was aggressively engaging towards where the kids were. But here are the kids, so I thought about that. I'm like, if I pull this trigger, it can't be here. It has to be where I'm not going to, no matter what happens, that bullet's not going to go through and hit my gun.
If you look at this room, you've got a window right there, and you know bullets do travel through things. So Absolutely. Knowing what your backdrop is, all that's all important. 100%. And so good job, man. I actually thought you did a really good job on
Appreciate that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do a scenario being a little bit more aggressive. You're going to actually be clearing. So it's not really a self-defense. It's more of a self-preservation scenario. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we're not going to purposely go out and do CQB by ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're going to put you in that situation. Okay?
Yeah, understand.
So you're going to get a scenario. If you see, you're going to clear that room to the right.
Okay.
Okay, and that's all I want you to do.
Okay.
It's going to be a low light situation, and go ahead. If you see a threat, deal with the threat. If there's no threat, deal with whatever. But clear to that room.
Okay. This is first room right here.
Right here on the right. Okay.
Cool. Copy that.
Ready to go?
Yep. On you.
Oh, there he is.
All right, how'd you do on that? What do you think?
A little too aggressive there. Kind of saw the blood in the water. Definitely took one that would have blown my finger off for sure. I think that was the only one. Okay, so opened the door, popped the door, started checking off the room behind the corner. Saw a glimpse of the darkness of his clothing. Realized where he was, and then I engaged to try to put him into the wall, and then tried to close the gap, and then he popped out. We engaged again, and I was kind of like this. He shot me in the finger. I shot him. So I probably, again, I was just trying to be a little aggressive. I was trying to use my gun to put him into his cover for me to move, to get some movement going, to close the gap, but that cost me my finger.
Yeah, probably might have cost you more than that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Again, I can't say anything you did was wrong. So one of the things is, once you engaged that guy and you were at the threshold, did you need to go in there?
Absolutely not.
No.
Didn't.
What could we have done differently? Because we don't want to be in a gunfight, right? So
100%.
You could go the aggressive route, and hey, you get the results that you get, right?
Yeah, we both died.
Right, maybe, right? Who knows? Right, but you both got shot for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, could we have engaged? He started engaging back. Could you have backed off to another location to mud suck? Because he only has one way out, right?
I didn't know. You know, I know I had to attack. I was to attack this room, and I didn't really have time to know what else was around. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Did you need to continue the firefight with him?
Not really. That was just being too aggressive. Again, I saw the blood in the water, and you know, this is to be honest, when the paintball instincts will get you in a real gunfight, because in a situation like that, in a game of paintball, you're supposed to just kind of trade with that body.
Right.
And I just had the instincts kick in, and as soon as we got into that very close gunfight, I went, you know, gun dominant to put him back in his cover, cut in, tried to close the gap, and then stay gunned up on him. But he, you know, came right back out, and we then traded. So
right. You're paintball, you're playing a game, right?
100%. This is for life. It's
right.
totally
We're not playing a game. Right?
That's where I have to try to burn that out.
Right. So we said in the beginning, right? It's about survivability, 100%. Right? Even though it was an aggressive situation. Again, what you did wasn't wrong. It's just more aggressive.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about self-preservation, maybe we can attack this a different way. And
Absolutely.
I think the potential for, hey, I've engaged, I survived that engagement. Oh, now I can move to another, I can maneuver to another location. That cocksucker's only got one way out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for, he's got to react to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, man, we got a different scenario for you. Again, in the same vein, active shooter kind of thing. You know, you're gonna be in a gunfight, so I would never clear this by myself, but unless I absolutely have to. But we're gonna make you do it. Okay.
All right.
All right. So all the doors on this wall, they're not in play. It's just one solid wall. You're gonna wrap that corner and you're gonna clear all the way down that hallway.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you have to. Is the only reason.
And active shooter situation.
Yeah, you've got a real threat. You know there's a threat, and for whatever reason, you got to go that way. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm down.
Send it. Okay, man, I'm going to start this one because I thought what you did was excellent. I said, hey, you got to clear this hallway. And I gave you your parameters and you used your entire environment. Okay. What I liked is the fact that you cleared this room. You saw there was another door. You knew this situation out here. You used the environment to your advantage. Hey, man, that's the way it's done. That's the way you got to do, especially when you're by yourself. I thought that was pretty amazing. Good work on that. And then you actually got the jump on the guy that was waiting to mudsuck you. So I can't say anything. Your paintball tactics on this absolutely work because that's, I would like to think that I would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? You used your entire environment to your...
Well, you were preaching survivability that whole time. So the whole time I'm thinking, okay, I'm really alone right now. And, you know, just again, trying to keep it in mind. Okay, and if I die, my family dies. Or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
That was my mindset to preach survivability to myself and the engagement. So this kind of fatal funnel of this hallway, I was trying to stay away from as much as I possibly could. And then, you know, you said use the environment, and that was kind of what you've been talking about in each one of these reps. So when I came through, there was actually there was a little crack in that wall. So I knew exactly where he was, which way he was looking, and knew that he wasn't going to necessarily be potentially ready for me. So that's when I got to that moment and knew where my opponent was, where the enemy was looking and doing, then I went extra aggressive there to make sure I got the drop on him.
Yeah, that was an excellent job. You know, taking advantage of cracks or whatever where
anything you can use.
Absolutely. And I will tell you that most, even a lot of professional teams, assaulters, they don't think of those things because they get so concentrated on shooting guns, seeing target. They just don't think about those things, you know. And then they train so much that, whatever. We sometimes box ourselves into thinking a certain way. So what you did, I thought, was awesome. The fact that you were using the cracks, light, and all that to your advantage, that's absolutely what you got to do. Good job, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so we just wrapped up a number of scenarios with Matty. What did you think?
Oh man, what an enlightening and incredibly enjoyable experience. Thought I did okay. It was obviously still some to learn. I feel like there's always something to improve upon, and definitely this type of intense training highlighted some things that in the future I need to think about in instances like this.
What did you think?
I think his experience with paintball absolutely helped him. Airsoft, paintball, all that stuff, I think helps to some degree. There's limits to that. You know, even with simunition, there's limits, right? Overall, I thought he did a pretty good job, man. Some things that even surprised me that I really liked. Yeah,
it was. If you guys got to see all the things, there was carryover. I mean, there's stuff from paintball that really did help. And one thing I did notice was you were very aggressive. And I guess when hearing some of the debriefs, that's more from the paintball side. So do you think that's one of the things that kind of you need to switch on, switch off?
Yeah, for sure. We preach aggression in paintball, and it's burnt into you. And in any sort of real life scenario like this, and anytime I've done other tactical trainings, it's something it's hard for me to switch off. And training like this helps switch that off a little bit, to be a little bit more focusing on survivability and you know, play it as it lies. I mean, this is a gunfighting scenario, so treat it as such.
Awesome.
You know, aggression doesn't mean attack always, okay? You can be defensively aggressive, right? And that's where you want to be. You know, you don't ever want to lose that aggression in a violent situation. So don't look at it as I'm being soft because I'm being defensive. No, you're changing the tide.
Absolutely. Again, and it was just a very informative and enlightening experience. And you know, I also wanted to make sure I represented the paintball crowd well. So I'm not gonna hide in the corner. That's for sure. You did.
Thanks, Matty, for coming over and run these scenarios for our viewers. There truly is value. We've said it before. Tosh has repeated it many times. There's definitely value in other training platforms, you know, airsoft, paintball, and Matty just proved it. Of course, there are certain considerations you have to think about. For example, we were just talking about being aggressive in real life scenarios, but definitely value in it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, Matty, thanks. Tosh, thanks for running Matty through everything, and we'll see you guys next week.